Diver discovers amazing Egyptian ruins at the bottom of the sea. There are so many underwater mysteries, some we barely understand and others have just been lost to time. Every year, new discoveries in marine biology and archaeology keep popping up. And honestly, the more we uncover, the more questions we seem to have. Let's take a look at some of the most fascinating underwater finds, some of which even experts still can't explain. 1. A sunken ship in the Atlantic Ocean. In March 2013, a company called Aris Marina Exploration carried out one of the deepest salvage operations ever recorded in the Atlantic Ocean. They recovered over 100 kilograms of silver bars that had been lost during World War II. These bars came from the British ship SS Garsoppa, which was sunk in 1941 near Ireland by a German submarine. The silver is now valued at around £150 million, and its loss back then played a role in the UK giving up the gold standard. Today, the wreck, now covered in coral and marine life, tells a haunting story of fortune and tragedy at sea. 2. Treasure from a 1715 Spanish shipwreck off Florida's Treasure Coast. In July 2015, a treasure hunter named Arsum made his dream come true when he found over $1 million worth of gold coins from a 1715 Spanish shipwreck off Florida's coast. That area is already famous for lost ship treasures. Back in 1715, a hurricane sank 10 Spanish ships, scattering treasure worth what would now be $500 billion. Arsum found 50 gold coins using magnets along with shields, more coins, and even Colombian emeralds, fulfilling a lifelong wish. In 2014, people in southern Mexico were shocked when researchers found something terrifying in an underwater cave sinkhole in Yucatan, dozens of human bones. The discovery caught the attention of both the public and archaeologists. Some of the skulls were long and strangely shaped. After exploring the underwater cave known as Sac Actun, researchers concluded that the Mayans used these human remains as offerings. Today, locals avoid the area, haunted by its dark past. Ancient Mayans once feared it too, believing a feathered horse-headed serpent guarded the cave. No one dared go near it, let alone dive in. In 1655, the British seized Jamaica from the Spanish and built an unofficial capital called Port Royal. It became a pirate haven when Governor Edward invited pirates to settle there for protection against the Spanish. At its height, half the town's population was involved in piracy. About a quarter of its buildings were brothels. But in 1692, a massive 7.5 magnitude earthquake hit, followed by a tsunami. The sand the city was built on gave way, swallowing buildings, roads, and people. Around 2,000 people died and 33 acres of the city disappeared beneath 12 meters of water. Some called it divine punishment for the wickedest city on earth. Today, much of the sunken city remains eerily intact, with artifacts like rum bottles, pipes, kitchenware, and even a pocket watch from 1686. In 1999, Port Royal was declared a National Heritage Site. Imagine this: a grand cruise ship gliding through icy waters, passengers enjoying the breeze and calm sea, totally unaware of the danger just below. Sounds familiar? Like a scene out of a thriller, an invisible threat lurked in the shadows. Then, in a dramatic reveal, a massive presence emerged, like a ghost from the depths. Passengers were stunned as they realized they'd narrowly avoided a fate like the Titanic. It was a chilling reminder of how fragile life is when nature decides to strike. Lying near the coral reefs of the Red Sea is the wreck of the SS Thistlegorm, which was a British armed merchant ship sunk during World War II. It was discovered back in the 1950s and, became one of the world's most famous dive sites. The ship sank on October 6, 1941, while carrying supplies for British troops in Africa, including trucks, motorcycles, and even parts meant for German attacks. Sadly, 9 people died. In 1956, Jacques Cousteau rediscovered the wreck. Today, divers can explore this underwater time capsule where vehicles and cargo still lie at the bottom. In 2016, divers led by underwater photographer Taron Eason discovered a massive fortress at the bottom of Lake Van, near the ancient town of Adilsavaz. Archaeologists had actually told them there was probably nothing to find, but driven by local legends about ancient relics under the lake, they kept searching anyway. Eventually, they found a large underwater wall system that stood about 3 to 4 meters tall and stretched over a kilometer. Video footage showed everything from piles of loose stones to perfectly squared walls. In 1985, a chartered boat spotted a strange shape about 8 kilometers off the coast of Long Branch, New Jersey. At around 90 feet deep, they discovered 2 small locomotives underwater. Known now as the train graveyard, the site remains a bit of a mystery. The rare Planet 222 locomotives were likely built in Boston and being transported on a barge, but possibly fell overboard during a storm. Or maybe they were deliberately dumped. No ship records mention the trains, and honestly, no one knows for sure how they got there. Thonis was once a bustling ancient port near the mouth of the Nile, serving as a vital trade hub. But natural disasters like earthquakes and landslides eventually dragged the city underwater. It remained forgotten for centuries until it was rediscovered in 2000 by a team led by Frank Gaudio. Excavations revealed temples, statues, inscriptions, and more, offering a vivid picture of life in this ancient port and how Egypt interacted with the Mediterranean world, including Greece and Rome. Divers were stunned to discover a submerged Roman city lost for over 1,700 years off Italy's western coast. Known as Baiae, it was once a luxurious resort town for Rome's elite. Think of it as ancient Rome's version of Las Vegas. At first, archaeologists couldn't decipher the symbols on the ruins, but soon realized they pointed to indulgence and excess. Sadly, Baiae was sacked by a Muslim army in the 8th century and abandoned by the 1500s. Volcanic activity eventually caused sea levels to rise, flooding the area. Today, divers can visit the ruins and still see the lavish remnants of this ancient playground. In 1968, a diver found a line of stone blocks about 6 meters deep off North Bimini Island in the Bahamas. These stones appeared man-made, sparking theories of ancient civilizations, some even linking them to Atlantis. Debate still continues over whether the formation is natural or artificial. Named after the Bimini Road, many people believe this mysterious underwater formation could be the road to the lost city of Atlantis. According to Plato, Atlantis was an advanced civilization that was punished by the gods and sank into the sea. While some believe it's just a myth, many still search for proof of its existence. The Bimini Road has impressed many, but scientific analysis shows it likely formed naturally through erosion. So the mystery of Atlantis remains unsolved. Off the southern coast of modern-day Greece, under the Mediterranean Sea, lies the sunken city of Pavlopetri. Archaeologists believe this once busy harbor, now resting about 4 meters underwater, is actually the oldest submerged city ever found, dating back roughly 5,000 years. Pavlopetri thrived for over 2 centuries before a powerful earthquake changed the landscape around 1000 BCE, causing the city to sink. It was rediscovered in 1967 by marine geologists, and then, in 1968, a Cambridge University team mapped it out and dated it to around 2800 BCE. Even though erosion has damaged some parts of it, Pavlopetri is, honestly, remarkably well preserved. You can still see stone foundations, temple ruins, courtyards, tombs, and various other buildings. The people who lived there were likely farmers, fishermen, herders, and textile makers. Pavlopetri held a key spot on an important trade route. In 2009, researchers created a 3-dimensional digital model of the city, giving us a pretty realistic look at what it once looked like in its prime. Divers exploring near Easter Island discovered massive moai statues underwater. On land, there are nearly 900 of these giant human-like statues built by the ancient Rapa Nui people. Parts of some statues have been found beneath the water too. Located near Naples, Italy, the ancient Roman city of Baiae was once a booming luxury resort, known for its villas, hot springs, and stunning views. It was a favorite escape for emperors and Roman elites. But in the 5th century, Baiae faced multiple disasters, earthquakes and eruptions from nearby Mount Vesuvius. The biggest blow came from land subsidence and seismic activity, which caused much of the city to slowly sink beneath the sea. Today, large parts of Baiae lie underwater in the Gulf of Naples. Archaeologists have done extensive underwater studies there, discovering the remains of villas, mosaics, statues, and even thermal bath structures. These underwater ruins offer a stunning glimpse into daily life in ancient Rome and have become a major destination for divers and underwater archaeologists. Some artifacts are preserved in local museums, offering visitors a window into the grand past of this sunken city. At the spot where the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans meet, a fascinating natural phenomenon occurs. Unlike what movies show, there's no dramatic clash or clear line where they collide. Instead, there's a kind of invisible barrier where the two bodies of water meet. Waves pass through this zone, but they look like they're brushing up against each other without fully blending. On one side, the water appears deep blue. On the other, it's a greenish hue. Each has its own unique shine. It's not just beautiful, it's mysterious too. You'd think the colors would mix in the middle, but they don't. That's because of differences in salinity and temperature. The Atlantic is known to be the saltiest ocean, and the high salt concentration helps create this visible divide. Surface tension and mineral content also play a role in keeping these water masses separate. While it looks mysterious, science gives us a clear explanation. Salinity, temperature, and water density prevent the oceans from blending. Nature always has a way of surprising us with such wonders. During a routine observation, a team of seismologists witnessed something truly extraordinary. A new island rising from the sea. Sounds unreal, right? But according to experts, this happened due to intense underground volcanic activity beneath the Earth's crust. It was like watching a natural magic trick. These lucky researchers were right there to see it all unfold live. Moments like that are incredibly rare, like finding a pearl inside an oyster. They had front row seats to one of Mother Nature's most powerful and awe-inspiring performances. In 2021, a young African student named Don Marks went on a casual fishing trip to the Atlantic coast near Cape Agulhas. He picked a promising spot and caught a 3-kilogram red snapper. But what shocked him wasn't the fish, it was what he found inside its mouth. When he went to remove the hook, he found a creepy creature inside instead of a tongue. Don, who's been fishing since childhood, said he'd never seen anything like it. He snapped a picture and sent it to a biologist friend, Nico Smith. Nico confirmed that the creature was a tongue-eating parasite, a type of isopod. These parasites latch onto the tongues of fish, feed on their blood, and eventually eat the tongue entirely. Then, they take its place and function as a replacement. Surprisingly, they're the only known parasites in the world that can replace a host's organ. They even help the fish grip food with their new fake tongue, but don't try to remove one. It's nearly impossible and could leave the fish unable to feed. These parasites cling tightly to the fish's mouth tissue, making removal very difficult. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enjoy more amazing content on the channel. Thanks for watching.